How's it going? So in this tutorial, I wanted to focus on Mother's Day, upcoming Mother's Day, and I just wanted to throw out a gift idea. I've been looking and eyeballing these little wooden boxes at the craft stores. This one was from Hobby Lobby, and it was only $2.99. So yeah, $3. And it's just got like one little latch, and you can open it up. I painted the inside white, and then I did like a pink fade down the sides and the back and the front. And so I painted this design on there. And you know, you could give it to a neighbor, a friend, or you could give it to your mom, your grandmother. You could even keep it for yourself. But it turned out very pretty, and it was actually a pretty simple design. So if you're ready to see how to go about this, then keep watching. Alright, so I picked pink as my background color, and I just wanted to do a fade. So I used some plantation rose and some pink tropics. Plantation rose on the top and the pink tropics on the bottom, and then I just blend them in with a 1-inch brush. And there's no, right or wrong way to do this. You just kind of go at it, and you will just kind of leave the darker shade at the bottom, and then just lightly fade it up. And then I just do the same on the front and the back and the sides. And then I just clean up the hardware with a damp Q-tip just before it dries, just so it's easier to get it off. And then when I went to find my center, I initially did corner to corner, and then I realized, wait, that doesn't work because this isn't a square. So I just kind of measured out where the center was and put a little mark. And that way I can use my 16 slice stencil. And then I go ahead and put the center of the stencil right over top of my center mark there. Just because this stencil is, it is a square, it's a 6x6 stencil, so I had to find the center first, which is not a problem. And then I go ahead and remove the old original lines, and now I place the stencil down. And I just take some chalk and I go out 8 of those. In hindsight, I would probably go on out the full 16, and you will see why later. And then I just blow off the excess chalk, and then I just lift up the stencil, and you've got your lines. Now I didn't need the circle lines, so I just did the straight lines of the stencil. Here I am using a size 8mm crochet hook, and I have switched to Folk Art enamel paint. It's called Paradise Pink, and I just go ahead and put a dot right in the center, and then I'm moving to the patina, which is a really light green color, and I love this color. I use it quite often, and I'm using a size 5 nail stylus. And I'm just going to put a dot on each of the 8 lines there. And then I'm going to go with a smaller nail stylus and put a dot right in between each of those. And here I just wanted to show you, I mix a little of the patina with some cobalt hue, which you will see later on in this tutorial. I use that color also. But I mix the two, and that gives me the turquoise color for my next row of dots. I'm using my smallest wooden dowel, which is about 3.5mm in size. I'm going to go ahead and put another dot right on each of the 8 guidelines there, all the way around. And then, just like the previous step, I'm going to go ahead and grab a smaller tool to put a dot right in between each of those. So I'm going to grab my size 5 nail stylus, and by size 5, that is just my largest nail stylus. I numbered them, my largest being 5 and my smallest being size 1. Alright, moving on to the cobalt hue, I'm going to grab my 6mm crochet hook and I'm going to put a dot right on each of the guidelines again. Now I just love this particular blue. It is pretty true to its color when it's wet as to when it's dry. It just really is a nice pop of color. I am moving on to my size 5 nail stylus and I'm going to walk the dots around. So I'm going to start on the very outer edge right in the center and make a dot, and then I walk 5 dots down one side, and then I re-dip my dotting tool in paint, and then I will redot the first initial dot and then walk about 4 or 5 down the other side. So they kind of look like little petals. Little flower petals. Alright, I am grabbing my 4mm crochet hook and I'm just going to put a dot right in between each of those little bridges, right in between each of the petals with that same greenish patina color. And then I'm going to grab my smallest wooden dowel and I'm going to put a dot right on each of the guidelines. And that is in the pink, back to the pink. And here I've grabbed my size 5 nail stylus and put a pink dot right next to each of those previous dots that I've got there in the middle. And you can really use any colors that you would like. I just was I had Mother's Day in mind, and I was wanting it to be nice and feminine design. Okay, here I have grabbed my 11.5mm crochet hook, and I'm using that turquoise color that we mixed the patina and the cobalt, and I'm going to put a dot right in the middle of each of the guidelines. See, that is where the extra guidelines would come in handy if I had drawn on all 16. So I would suggest going on and drawing on all 16. Here I have grabbed my 5.5mm crochet hook and I'm going to put a dot of white right on the outside of, right in the center, if you can get it right in the center of the previous larger turquoise dots. And then I'm going to go ahead and put a smaller dot next to each of those with my smallest wooden dowel on either side, and then I'm going to walk the dots down on either side also. So we're going to do like a larger petal, and that is with a size 5 nail stylus. And you really get, these really become easier and easier the more you dot. The walking of the dots, that's usually a pretty fun part. So, alright, here I am using the cobalt hue, and I'm going to put 5 dots walking down in the center as where I start right in the center on the guideline, and I walk 5 down. Now I put the first dot, I line it up with the larger of the side dots there. That's how I kind of lined that up. I know that when I walk dots with a size 5 nail stylus, I can usually get about a ½ inch. So that's where I was just going to keep the spacing. I just line it up with that larger side dot and walk them in. So I do a total of 3 rows. So these are like backwards wispies is what I was calling them. And if you've seen my previous tutorial, Big Blue, I did the wispies walking out, and they kind of look like pineapple heads. Alright, here we're going to move up in size, and we're going to put a dot right above each of those with my smallest wooden dowel. So about 3.5 millimeter in size. You could just use your 4 if you have a set of crochet hooks. Okay, and then I'm walking it out with a little bit larger again. This is my size 4 millimeter crochet hook, and I go ahead and do one above each of the 3 previous dots all the way around. And then I go ahead with my size 5 millimeter crochet hook, and I'm just going to put one in the center row, one on the outside edge there, all the way around. And now, if you wanted to, you could just stop right there. I had considered stopping right there. I thought it looked just beautiful, and it really didn't take long at all, so I was into this design here. But then again, you know me, I wanted to push it a little bit, and I love, love, love top dots. I think they give great depth to a piece, so I'm going to go ahead with some top dots. Now, I am going to add a couple more wispies in between those. So I'm going to go back with the green, patina green, and my size 5 nail stylus. And here I'm lining up with the top of the largest outer dot there in the middle row. So I just line it up with that, and then I walk about 5 dots down in. Now, I'm a sucker for details, so I do like to put in as many little details as I can here and there. Okay, so what I've done here is I've taken the colors that I used, and I lightened them with a little bit of white paint, just each color. So I'm going to go with the lighter shade of the turquoise color that we mixed, and I'm going to put a top dot with a 9 millimeter crochet hook, and just kind of get it right in the center as well as you can. And I'm just going to put one on each of the larger dots there. And now I'm going with my lighter shade of the cobalt hue, and I'm going to put a dot on each of those. That's my 3.75 millimeter crochet hook, and that's going to go right on the very outer dot. And then moving on to my my smallest wooden dowel, which I call about a 3.5 millimeter, I'm going to put a dot on each of the 3 below that one. And I just try to keep it in the middle. You could put it to a certain edge if you wanted to. That would probably be just as pretty. You can pretty much do anything you want to do. I bet it's going to be pretty. Alright, and then I grab my 5 millimeter, and I'm going to put a dot right on each of the 8 dots around the center. And if you don't feel like there's enough paint on a certain dot, then go ahead and re-dip it in your paint and then redot it. That's no big deal at all. And then of course I have to get the middle there. That's with 6 millimeter. And then I'm going to walk the dots down. I think I grabbed a pretty small one. It was a size 2. And You just want to walk them in. This is the fun part to me. I mean, they don't have to be perfect. So don't beat yourself up if they're a little off. It's perfectly fine. Because from a distance, those dots are so teeny tiny that you would never notice. No one's going to notice that. Just go with it. Trust me. Step away. Seriously, step away from your painting. Walk away. Look at a blank wall or something else. And then from a distance, look over at your painting. And you're going to be like, wow, that looks so good. I actually do this in workshops or in my classes. I have the people stop and I hold the painting away a little bit and I show them because it really is, there's a huge difference if you just step back a little bit. These things are beautiful no matter what. And then just top dotting some of the pink. And then I go ahead and do a few top dots here on the turquoise color. And then this was another spot where you could just leave it if you wanted to, but I didn't want to. So I went ahead and brought out the original colors. Make sure those are really, really good and dry. Again, you don't want wet dots because it just doesn't work. It just makes the dot that you're trying to make a dot, it won't wind up being round. It'll be either wavy or like a half a dot. So just make sure they're really good and dry. Give yourself an hour or two in between. Take a break. And then, yeah, so just coming back with some darker color, back that original first color, and I'm dotting again. More detail, more depth. I don't think you can go wrong with more detail. So just use a tool that is smaller than what you had previously used. And I'm not walking all the way down because I think it would cover the whole bit of the previous dot. So I just kind of go down to about the third row down. And then I'm going to put a dot of the turquoise color back on those larger dots there. And that's it. Hey, thank you so much for watching. If you find this tutorial to be helpful, please do not forget to give it a thumbs up. And if you're new to my channel, I would love to have you as a subscriber. And if you want to get notifications of when I upload videos, hit that little bell icon and it'll let you know when I upload new tutorials. See you next time. Hey, I gotta give a shout out to Cynthia. You know who you are. Why is it doing that? Well, okay, it stopped. Man, this is too clear. Seriously. Too clear.